Warning, there are profanity, topics, and other opinions that could offend you. Please watch and or listen at your own risk, and enjoy the show. Hey guys, I'm RDiK, OLDSCHOOLDUELIST 12, and welcome to the Voidcast Season 3, where no topic, once again, is off the table. So we're at Season 3, this is happening. I am recording this the second time just because my first recording, once I got into the main topic, I hardcore brain farted at words I wanted to say. Mostly because I didn't prep myself beforehand like I usually do. But I was like, nah, I'll be fine. I got about 20 minutes in, and then I was like, words. So I just kind of, just like, you know what, scrap it. Let's try again. So, now that I've actually prepped myself this time so I don't have a fucking brain fart, we're going to jump into this. Before I do it, I just want to quickly say that I know I tried to say that Zelda Monthly was going to show up next week while I'm still having issues producing it and how I want to go about the show, because now I'm hitting tons of ideas where I want to see if this will work in the show, and it's not. It's like there was some of them working, some of them aren't working, so I'm just like, you know what? We're just going to have this show up when I want it to, when it's ready, because I want to put out something that's awesome. So, to go into this. Alright, we're going to go into this. We're jumping in. So, first thing I want to talk about is Overwatch Halloween Terror. It's going to be the new, for next week. The new event for Overwatch. There's a 7-second tweet that Overwatch put out that just shows McCree, and it looks like, fuck, what is his name? The guy with the mask and 2 guns where he doesn't reload. Shit. I drew a blank the first time. I'm just gonna look it up. Just looking this up. Overwatch characters. I'm drawing a huge blank, and it makes me mad. Here's Overwatch. I know, as soon, if I see the character, I'm like, oh! Reaper. Fucking Reaper. That's his name. But yeah, so that's Reaper. It shows McCree and Reaper. Reaper's making a weird face. McCree's looks like he's getting ready to shoot him, but if you don't, okay, so yeah, that's literally it, and it just says October 10th, 2017, and that's it. So it'll be out next Tuesday, and you best believe I'm going to play that, because last year when I played it, or when I tried to, I only got to play it 2 or 3 times, and I'm going to play it this time, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to have a blast. So, yeah. So, moving on to the next topic is PlayStation boss Andrew House is leaving PlayStation. Who is Andrew House? Andrew House is, or was, the president and chief executive of Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE. He's been there for he's been the president of SIE for 6 years. He's been with PlayStation in general, or Sony in general, for 20 years. The person that is taking his place is John Kodera. Kodera? I don't know Kodera sounds right. That sounds right, but I'm thinking that could be somebody else's name. So it's John Kodera, whatever, whatever you want to call it. John K is taking it. And then also, Kazuo Harari is now the president and chief executive of all of Sony. So, with those two now, with their positions and shit like that, there's tons of things that are going to happen. And here's a small quote from Andrew that he gave, the whatever. PlayStation has been a huge part of my life for more than 20 years, but with the business having achieved record-breaking success, now seemed to be the right time for me to pursue new challenges. House said in the Sony's Entertainment, John and the team at SIE are world-class, and I know the future of PlayStation is very bright. What does that mean? It means that John and the rest of SIE, they are doing things right, and he's leaving it in good hands. I've never been a PlayStation person. Well, I can't say never. I did own a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2. And then I bought 360, and I never owned PlayStation after that. I owned a PSP, but nothing really to, like, nothing. I didn't own a PS3 or a PS4. Sorry, tired. I'm always tired. But yeah, I've always been a Microsoft Xbox fan. So yeah, that's just me. But with friends that own a PS3 and own a PS4, PlayStation, they're doing things right. Yes, they have tons of exclusives. They are the top-selling console right now. So I think things are gonna go fine. I mean, like, it's not like they worst thing they can do is Xbox puts out a fucking console that fucking shits on the PlayStation 5, and they also have to get the exclusives. If they get the exclusive, that is the big thing. They console or companies that put out consoles like what is it? Like Nintendo. Nintendo has a line of people just like, oh shit, we're doing bad in sales. Hey, put out this game. It'll sell. And they're good. So that's what I'm totally okay with and excited for, and I'm ready to see what, let's see what you can do, John. Let's see if you can fucking knock shit out of the ballpark, just like Andrew did. So yeah, that's it on that. And then the last news story that I want to talk about is Rick and Morty's season 3 finale. Rick and Morty, they had their season 3 finale, and this is a long article. Both the PlayStation and the Rick and Morty article is going to be in the description below, like I usually do. So yes, with the season 3, I'm going to try and do is the least amount of spoilers, because the only way I can really talk about this is with spoilers. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler, then just kind of scoot ahead maybe like 5 minutes, roughly 5 minutes. And if it's too far, scoot back a little bit till you hear me say something like, and now we're talking about the last thing. Because I do have one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is the big topic of this show, of the episode season 3. And yeah, so moving into this. So with Rick and Morty season 3 coming out, they hit the reset button again. God damn. I'm not gonna lie, them hitting the reset button can be a little annoying, but at the same time makes sense for the point of the show. The season 3 finale just was not all that good to me, in my personal opinion. Well, like, the ending wasn't all that good. It was good leading up to it, and then they said, you know what? Fuck you, we're leaving, we're going to another world. I was like, you motherfuckers. So yeah, I just didn't really like it. I didn't like that last episode. It really, really annoyed the shit out of me. But it's not like I'm going to hate on the show because they had one bad ending of a season. No, dude, shows do that all the time. But no, that's, it was interesting. It was nice to see, it was nice to see that, they're still sticking with the show, the point of the show, that there's alternate universes. And they, obviously they're in a different universe, technically, from their original one. So, it's what is. What can you do about it? It's their show. They do what they want. So yeah, go ahead, check it out. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put the entire season on Hulu. Can't guarantee anything. But yeah, that's it. Let's hope we get season 4. Amazing. So yeah, moving on to the final topic of the podcast and the big point of the podcast. Where does Zelda Breath of the Wild fit into the timeline? Now, there's tons of articles out there, and Game Theory even put out an episode, and they kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I really agree with it, until I stumbled upon this article from nowloading.co. I'm pretty sure it's just, a tabloid, so I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. But they made an interesting point. Let me preference what Matt Pats and a lot of the other game theorists are talking about. That Breath of the Wild is part of the first timeline, the one where the hero where Link is defeated, and and then you have the Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, Link Awakening, Legend of Zelda, and The Adventure of Link. They're saying that ends at the end of that. Now, there's tons of things to go with it. There's references to Link being a hero of time, which you can say about, the hero being defeated, because Ocarina of Time, technically, with the hero being defeated, he's not the hero of time because he lost. So therefore, that totally puts that out of the thing of them mentioning, oh, you're the hero of time. If he's the hero of time, then, that's to the child era of him winning. Which, yeah. And then there's also a note of he's the hero of Twilight, which again goes to the child era of the hero winning. So that's 2 points, part of a main story cutscene that says it's part of this. But there's also another thing that shows it could be part of the adult era, Rock Salt. Rock Salt, the only game that it comes in is the adult era, Wind Waker, and that's where the Rito, which is in the game, it is a big plot of the game. You have no choice if you follow the story to go to see the Rito. And yeah, that's that. And the Rito is just, an adapted version of the Zoras, which you think the Zoras, because in Wind Waker, Hyrule is flooded, and that's why there's water, and that's why you get a fucking boat. You think the Zora would be like, yo, the world is ours. But no, they kind of just adapted, turned into birds, and said, you know what, we're flying. Fuck you guys. Which I'm still like, why? Again, I've never played Wind Waker, so they probably explain why they adapted. Which I want to play. I'm probably going to be playing. I'm probably going to start playing that soon. Probably after I play Skyward Sword. But that itself is... Getting Skyward Sword is such a hassle. It's a $40 game, which, why is it still a $40 game? I don't know. I don't know, but it's a shit fucking game. Anyways, I'm not gonna bitch about Skyward Sword and why I'm having such a hard time getting my hands on it, even though there's the internet. But I really don't want to pay $40 for a game that people have already said it's shit. If it's you got Zelda's name on it, but I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna pay $40 for that fucking game. So I'm trying to see if I can find it cheaper somewhere. Because if I really have to pay $40, I guess I'll have to fucking pay $40. But I'm just gonna do a little more research. Plus, I'm also still trying to write the show and structure it properly, so it's not like a big jumble mumble fuck. Anyways, I'm ranting. I'm getting off topic. Which Rock Salt only shows up in Wind Waker. So that shows that that's the adult era. But as you can tell from the game, from Breath of the Wild, there is no water. So maybe after all these years of Link, being asleep, maybe the water dried up. And if the water dried up, that makes perfect sense why everything's all discombobulated in the world. So, yeah. But then there's the defining point, or the defining 2 points why Breath of the Wild is part of the first, or the hero losing. The fact that, one, there's the enemy of the Lionels. The Lionels, they only show up in the hero losing, Link losing, and that whole era. So that's interesting. That's very, very interesting to me. And then there's also the fact that Ganondorf is Calamity Ganon. If you notice, in the Heroes Defeated timeline, Ganondorf is only Ganon. That's because he's stuck in his demon form or his pig form. So yeah, that just shows that his entire thing is that's why he's a pig the whole time, and that's why Calamity Ganon is a monster. He's a demon. He shows his his demon colors, and then he turns into the giant fucking pig. So yeah, there's that. There's those two defining points that shows that it is in this timeline. Well, not the defining points, but the theorist points. Nintendo hasn't for sure said where it fits in the timeline. They just said, oh, it's after Ocarina of Time. But one thing that I thought about, and one thing that I stumbled upon in this article, is what if Breath of the Wild is the end result of all three? Like, okay, so years passed, like a lot of years passed, and it references Twilight, it references the hero, it references Wind Waker, with very slight things, because the Zoras and the Rita both exist in this timeline. So that's where, where you're just like, and then with the Lionels and Calamity Ganon, it references that as well. Plus, also the tunic. That is another big point for it. So there's three big defining points. With the Heroes Defeated era, is the tunic you get at the end. It's almost, it's more up, more classic. Here's the art style, but it is this tunic from that era with the sleeves and the light green stripe or yellow stripe on his hat. So that's the big defining point for the game, that could be that it's part of this era. But like I said, it could be the end result of all three. Now hear me out 100%. And again, some of these points that show that it could just be Easter eggs and stuff like that, is the fact that it references Twilight Princess, references you're the hero of time. Well, again, how can you be the hero of time if you were defeated? And then if you go to the Goron's place and look up at the mountain, you see Darunia. I want to say that's how you pronounce his name. You see Darunia, the sage and the old leader, or the Goron leader in Ocarina of Time. Again, it could just be Easter eggs, but they're there. Sometimes, people could be like, oh, it's an Easter egg, blah, blah, blah. And, at the same time, you'd be like, oh, well, because they wouldn't put it up in there for no reason. Yeah, it's an Easter egg. Okay, well, the fact that it's in there could be an arguable point. Since they haven't confirmed what part of the timeline that it's part of, since it's after Ocarina of Time, which means it has to be part of one of these three. When we get the DLC in December, maybe it'll tell some more and give us an exact point, an exact, hey, this is where it's at, or something like that. Who knows? But the fact that it makes references from all three different timelines, even though with the Rudos and the Rock Salt, that's very minor. It could, it does reference all three timelines, so it could be the end result. So it just shows that all three of these people get here, or all three links that live throughout this game get here at some point, which is very, very plausible and possible. So that's just me. And for the people that don't know what the timeline is all about, because I've been talking about it a lot, but I haven't really said what the fuck the timeline is. Now, for the people that don't know what the timeline is, let me just give you a rundown of the timeline. They do list every game except for Breath of the Wild, and if you look at an updated version, it's going to include Link Between Worlds, but it's pretty obvious for Link Between Worlds it's a sequel to Link to the Past. So yeah, there's Skyward Sword, which is technically the beginning of Zelda, which is where everything went down. In my personal opinion, the timeline is a little fucky. It is very fucky. And literally my reasoning for why it's all fucky is because I personally feel like a lot of the handheld games, they just kind of just said shit, or just go in. Again, that's all my personal opinion. But with Skyward Sword, I already know the premise of the story of the game is that's where the Master Sword was created. That's where, the first Ganondorf, Zelda, and Link fight first started. And that's where the curse happened, and that's what starts the entire thing. The curse was put on Zelda and Link, where Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf will forever be reincarnated and fight for eternity. And then there's the Minish Cap, which the Minish Cap is the rise of Vaati. And Vaati is important for the adult era, because that's where Vaati comes into this. And, you know, Vaati is also referenced in the first game, and everything like that. Yeah, he comes back in at the end of the Child era. And then there's Four Swords, which I have not played Four Swords, just because I just never got around to it. I never had friends who wanted to play Four Swords, so I just never played Four Swords. And then there's Ocarina of Time, which is the point in the series, in the series, where the game splits off into 3 different timelines, and the 3 different timelines that I'm referencing to in the entire, for this entire, like, second half of the video. Ocarina of Time is, you know, the biggest, most popular, and, you know, some people say is the best Zelda game out of all of them. I think it's Majora's Mask, with Breath of the Wild as a close second. But Ocarina of Time is the game where everyone was like, shit, Zelda is a thing. And then, you know, that's where you fight, and then at that point it splits off into 3 different timelines. The hero is defeated, Link wins, and he goes back as a child, and then Link wins and he stays an adult. Where the hero is defeated, you know, there is Link to the Past, there's Link Between Worlds, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, Link's Awakening, and then Legend of Zelda, the very first game, and then the second game for Legend of Zelda, Link's The Adventure of Link. And then there's the Child Era, which is Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Four Swords Adventure. And then there's Zelda, or the Wind Waker. Then there's, you know, the Adult Era, where Ganondorf was sealed, you know, everything like that. Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. Now, there's still points on this timeline that says, like, hey, you know, this happened here, but there was no game to go with it. I personally feel like this game was honest, or this timeline was created because people kept saying, like, well, there needs to be a timeline. Where is it all going there? Because if they wanted a fucking timeline, they would have fucking had a timeline, and it would have started with The Legend of Zelda. I feel like Nintendo didn't expect it to be this popular, so they just kind of said, hey, we're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. It is, in my personal opinion, a very fucky, not so put together, not 100% put together game. That's my personal opinion. I mean, like, in reality, I feel like the Minish Cap goes with, or should, the Minish Cap and the Four Swords should go with his adult era. But at the same time, you know, you need to have Vaati in, or like, you know, the beginning of Vaati somewhere. And if you put it in the beginning, you know, after the shit, because technically Ganon was defeated, and that's still could be the same Link, you know, blah blah. He's still growing up, everything like that. The beginning of Hyrule, everything like that. Like, you have to have that in there. Well, it's just my personal opinion on the fucking timeline. The timeline just seems very thrown together. They're just like, oh yeah, there's this. Oh yeah, there's this. Oh, this game doesn't meet the other standards. It's a new timeline. Like, fuck off. Like, that shit annoys me. But at the same time, because, you know, I mean, with the hero being defeated, with the hero totally being defeated, him staying in pig form, I mean, this kind of makes sense. That it's, you know, because, like, you know, you defeat Ganondorf. Okay, now we're going to become Ganon. Ganon's going to kill you. I'm going to stay in pig form because I beat the shit out of Link. I fucking murdered this mofo. So we're just going to stay as a fucking giant pig the rest of the game. So, yeah, it's just kind of like, my thing is, like, Ganondorf. How does, like, Ganondorf has, like, maybe 1 or 2 references in Majora's Mask, because the mask is the enemy, but at the same time, also, Majora's Mask is a parallel universe, technically. It's a parallel universe. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things with the game, and a lot of things with the game, or with the series. There's a lot of things with the series that I agree with, and a lot of things with the series that I don't agree with. Why they did it a certain way. And I feel like, you know, my theory on Link to the Past, or not Link to the Past, Breath of the Wild is a final end result of all 3, so they have to include things from all 3 games. to show that like all 3 times you ended up here. How we ended up here, yeah, I don't fucking know. But it happened, and you know, at the end of the day, it's a fucking great game, even if it doesn't have a specific point that it reaches. And like that, Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. The first DLC was interesting. I haven't finished the first DLC just because it's fucking hard. Holy shit, it's hard. But I'm really, really excited for the second DLC pack to come out at the end of the year. That's the sad part. The second DLC pack, which is the Champions, which is like more story stuff that has to do with the champions and tell you more about the champions and who they are. That comes out at the December 31st on New Year's Eve. So you know what I'll fucking be doing on New Year's Eve? Playing the shit out of Zelda. Because I'll probably have beaten all the other games. But yeah. But also, in other news, fun fact about me, what I've been up to. I've been buying the new Zelda, or all the new Switch games that have been coming out. I bought Pokken. Pokken's amazing. I didn't play, like I said, I never owned a Wii U. That's the one the one Nintendo console that I've not owned is a Wii U. So I never got to fucking play a Wii U. So having Pokken, fucking amazing. I love Pokken. Pokken's really fun. And then I dabbled some more in Zelda because I wanted to play more Breath of the Wild in preparation for this video. Forgot a lot of the shit that I saw. And then, what else? Splatoon 2 came out. That was the thing. Wait, did it come out? No, it didn't come out in my break. It didn't. And then, what is it? Played Metroid. Bought Metroid. Metroid is awesome. So, yeah, Metroid is amazing. The fact, or Samus Returns, the fact that it's a remake of the other one. I know I'm just rambling now because I still have some more time before the end of the show, and I didn't really talk at the beginning. I kind of just quickly went through it because the first time I recorded, by the time I got to the Zelda thing, I only had 15 minutes left. And this time, since I already mentioned everything, I was kind of able to hit all my points without trying to think of words to say. So yeah, I was better prepared this time, and I was able to kind of just not power through it, but go through it better with words. Because me and words, we don't get along. Even when I have words written down, I don't get along with them. But yeah, so I've just been playing a lot of fucking Nintendo games. I broke my fucking DS analog stick. I got mad. I was getting really pissed. Because for people that don't have a 3DS, which I might end up having to buy a new 3DS because I fucking broke my analog stick. But it's not a real analog stick where for a console it bends and stuff like that and actually turns. No, it's kind of it's the equivalent of moving a penny around, or the touchscreens on a mobile device, like your phone or a tablet or something like that, where it's just kind of it slides and stuff like that. It's essentially that, but it's a physical form. But I got pissed, and I fucking was peeling at the goddamn analog stick. Because I kept fucking dying the last boss in Zelda, and I was getting pissed. I got angry. I fucking peeled it off, and I was like, shit. Beat it without the fucking without the fucking thing on top. So fuck you, Ridley. Yeah. So yeah, I probably might buy a new 3DS if I can't fucking glue the thing back on. Just get some crazy glue it back on, and call it a day. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I also bought Xenoverse 2. I said I bought Xenoverse 1, and the announcement of Xenoverse 2 was announced, and I was like, maybe I'll buy Xenoverse 2. And then I heard the reviews, and they're just yeah, it's basically Xenoverse 1 with a little bit a few updates. The story is almost identical. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of differences. The story does change. I have seen story changes, and the beginning was kind of the same. But now I'm starting to hit the point in the game where the story is different than before. Yeah, the game is still pretty fun. I mean, the reason why I did not finish Universe 1 is because I didn't feel like booting out my Xbox for fucking time. That's annoying. That's why I just prefer, that's why I love my Switch, because I can just be I'm going here, well, fucking have something to do for 2 hours. My Switch I love my Switch. I fucking love it a lot. I'm excited for Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I'm gonna pre-order it. I don't know. I might just I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can fix my analog stick, and then probably if I can't, I guess buy a new fucking... Because, I mean, it still works. It's just it doesn't have the analog top. I don't know. I'm going to see what I can do to fix it. I'm pissed that I did that. Oh, well. Well, thank you guys for watching and or listening. I just ranted the last, like 5 minutes of the show about pointless nothingness about my life. And stupid gaming. But yeah, so I'm gonna, I got work tonight. I got work in a couple hours. So yeah, I will see you guys. Well, I'm about to do an awkward ass ending. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to other videos on my channel. And if you are excited for season 3 of the Voidcast, hit that bell icon so you know when I post it, even though I post every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I got a lot of plans. Hopefully, I can actually have more guests this season, because I had some guests season 1. I want to have more. I only had like 1 season 2. But I want to have more season 3. I want to have a lot more season 3. But it's all about time and like actually fucking getting people on. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this video. Hit the bell icon. Don't forget to do that. Subscribe. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways, thank you, and have a wonderful, beautiful night, day thing, or whatever.
We'll be right back.